Please sit down.
Well, today is Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018 at 9:48 a.m. up here in the northeast side of the country. Anyhow, whoops. No, that's it, buddy. So, it's not real bad. It's not a bad day. You know, it's kind of like a mashad day, you know. It's not too cold. It's definitely not windy. If we had some wind, it would probably be a little chilly. But that's where we're at right now. Hold on. Okay. That was a message from Tom. His AUXNet radio needs to be programmed. But there's a problem with the program somehow. Not so much with the programming, but the manual is not real precise because the radio is not what they call field programmable. And meaning, you know, you just can't go up to it and program it. It's going to have to be plugged in and so on and so forth and use the program. Something like I do with all the other radios using my RT systems. However, with the ICOM and being a commercial piece, it has to have a commercial program, and RT Systems does not deal with that. So it's an ICOM item that you may have to buy or have, and that's what we're up against right now. And it has to be programmed via computer. So again, it can't be programmed in the field, you know, basically like just programming it like we can program these radios. So I'm trying to find out more about it because we don't know what power setting it's in. And the manual that comes with it doesn't tell you a lot of that stuff because it's a commercial radio and it's not made to be tinkered with. You know, by the user. It's made to be set by whoever programs it and whoever has the authority at that point. And what I mean by that, because it's a commercial grade radio, you know, people that have these radios either rent them or buy them from people that have repeaters and licensing, and they do all the programming for you when you buy the radio or rent the radio. And so they're more or less the authorized programmer, and it's not normally up to just anybody to program it. So it makes it a little bit harder. That's all, to get what you need, you know, and that's what it is, getting what you need. So I'm in the interim of trying to get what I need. You had enough. That's all I got, buddy. Yeah. Oh, you like your chin rubbed, huh? You like your chin scratched, huh? My buddy, huh? Your daddy's buddy. Okay. You had enough. You got treats over there. That's all I have left. So, anyway, that's where we're at. So he was going to come over today because we were going to fool around with it. I got the manual, but again, the manual only tells you how to operate the radio. It doesn't tell you how to program the radio. Now, one of the things we want to check, and the manual doesn't seem to say anything about it, is the power output. The radio has the ability of doing, I'm dusting here, hold on, has the ability of doing 5, 25, and 50 watts, the way I understand it. But trying to get it to change that power setting, again, by not being the programmer, the official programmer, the authorized programmer that they would normally have had, it's kind of a problem because, again, we may need that program in that cable because it's not made to be that way. You know, they're set up so that they're made commercially, basically, and that's what it is. It's a long story. But meanwhile, today is Tuesday. I'm going to wait for my coffee and things, and I'm going to hang out a few minutes. I have the Astrovan is at the shop. They're changing out the ignition. Now there's another thing. Sometimes, and I trust this shop, all right, but if they're not too familiar with things other than normal or stock, they're just bewildered. Well, the van has auto start in it with an alarm system and a kill. So if you hit the brake pedal or go to put it in gear while the van is running, it'll stall. This means nobody can steal the vehicle when it's running. So that's tied into the ignition wires. Now, it's not tied into the ignition. When you unplug the wire, the plug from the ignition, you know, the wires are all attached to it, so you don't have to worry about all that. But when they see all that there, they get bewildered, not knowing, because it's not stock, and they say, oh, so they called me up and says, you got a lot of wires tied into that thing. Well, that's the auto start, which, no, is not odd. It's, 50% or better cars now have auto start in them. But we thought it was just going to be a couple-hour job. Well, even a couple-hour job would be a long job, at that point, because it's really not that, it's not that hard. It's just that I can't get my big ass up underneath there. That's the problem. Between the bad back and, like I say, being a few pounds over, I just can't get in there. So, it's going to take more than a few hours. Hey, do what you got to do. What can I tell you? They're not familiar with it. But, like, for instance, here's the ignition module. The keyway is a totally separate piece. The keyway has a piece coming out that plugs into a hole into the ignition so that it turns it on and off. That's basically how it works. There's a plug that plugs into the module. Those wires are all over here at the end. So all he really has to do is unplug the module, take it out, put the new one back in, make sure the key is set, because this has a tumbler in it, plug the wires back in. But when they see all those extra wires, even though I trust the station, but they're all programmed the same, it gives them the little, like, oh shit. Also, ching 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 ching, because it's not stock. Now, I appreciate them doing it. All right, it's Pepe's. It's a great place. Good people. There was like 8 of the guys in there that took my class. And they are good people. And I usually buy my gas off of them, like all the time. But I haven't bought gas off of them in the last 6 to 8 months because Shell gets on your case if you don't use their card. Like, oh, whoop-de-doop-de, okay. And they do give me 5% off, and the station that's here is, the Shell station's reasonable to start with, but it's not even that. It's just because I have to use the Shell card a lot. Otherwise, they don't want, they want to take it away, and it's nice to have. So, but Pepe's also pumps their gas, so they still do it the old-fashioned way. They still send the person out, pumps the gas, clean the windows. It's a garage. It's the way that it used to be. And they're nice guys. And I brought the ignition switch. See, a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to be able to get the switch, sell you the switch. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it works.